Hello, I'm Sunil Jain. I'm the opinion editor of the Financial Express. Welcome to yet another of our regular podcasts on various important issues. We've done some on the Gujarat election and what they're going to look like. We've done various podcasts on the economic situation in India, and this one is on the stirring victory we just saw. What a speech Barack Obama gave. Till about, I think, 3 hours ago, a lot of people in India as well, were talking about a very, very close election, 269 each. And then they were talking about some kind of a compromise situation where Romney could become the president and perhaps Joe Biden the vice president. Well, that's clearly out of the way. We've seen a remarkable victory, almost 100 seats difference as far as the number of seats are concerned, as far as the popular vote is concerned. Chances are we'll see, Barack Obama going over 50%, so that gives him, sort of a moral edge over everyone else. So I think, we've just seen what a speech he gave in terms of reaching out to different groups, reaching out to the Republicans. So that was just fantastic what we saw. I think, if you look at the background, why were we in India so concerned about this election? Traditionally in India, at a government level, we seem to be more pro-Republican than pro-Democrat. The reasons for that are obvious. Some of the reasons are the fact that we got a nuclear deal. No Democrat president could ever have given India that nuclear deal. We've seen the Republicans traditionally stand for free trade, so we've been so India has traditionally been pro-Republican. But I think India has moved on. There was a little bit of fear of Barack Obama. There was a fear of the Democrats that the first thing that they'll do, and we had a lot of that in the last 1 year, was to start curbing offshoring. But guess what? IT stocks in the last 1 or 2 hours have all gone up. They've gone up 1%, I think 1 or 1.5%. So obviously the IT stocks see a different picture coming of an America under Obama. Actually, I think that's really the crux, the key message of this election is that India has moved on. What matters for India is not the minor or the small offshoring deals. What matters for India is where the global economy is growing. I'll just give you a number. With over 50% of India's GDP comprising imports and exports, India is no longer cannot afford to be an isolationist country. It has to look at the larger picture. So the larger picture for India, the larger picture for the world is what a recovery in the United States can do. Now we've seen the United States, is a $16 trillion economy. The world is about $65 to $70 trillion. So the US, let's say if the US economy grows at 2%, which is what it grew in the last quarter, that's going to give you about 10 to 12% of a kick to global growth. If the US economy, on the other hand, grows at 4%, that's a long way off. But if the US economy grows at 4%, you get another 10 to 15% kick to global GDP. So that's why, Obama being there is very important. A little caveat here, or a little point to be kept in mind here, is that Romney's statements about, for example, declaring China a currency manipulator were very frightening. I think what frightened people a lot more was the fact that Romney was proposing tax cuts and a dramatic increase in, the US military budget, which would probably add $7 trillion to the fiscal deficit over a decade. So those are frightening sort of elements. But I think, having won this victory, where are we? Are we any closer to getting to an American recovery? Or are we not? I think it's very clear that if you look at the economy that President Obama inherited, it was losing jobs. I think huge amounts of jobs every week. The economy was contracting by 9% on an annualized basis. Now we've got the economy back at 2% of GDP, growing at 2% of GDP. That's important. I think the critical thing is, but when you look at the debt ceiling or whether you look at the fiscal cliff, these are the two items that are really frightening markets and economists the world over. And if you look at today's vote, it at one level it changes nothing. America is still deeply polarized, with the Republicans controlling one part of the government, the Senate controlling another. So President Obama really has to reach out and move beyond, so he needs to offer cuts in his expenditure to get the Republicans to back his proposals for increases in tax levels. So that's going to be a huge step. I think though President Obama has talked about reaching out to the Republicans, he talked about reaching out to Governor Romney, and Governor Romney talked about willing to do a little bit to talk to the Democrats. There's a lot. It's not going to be easy. The consensus is a long way off. I think the Republicans are still in the grip of a Tea Party mode, so they're not in the mood to actually cooperate with the government. So we've had a great victory today, but until this divide gets resolved, we're going to have lots and lots of nervous moments. So we'll probably have one of these podcasts again a few weeks from now. Thank you for watching. Bye.